Hi guys! In today's video we'll be making this mermaid inspired doll repaint. This doll is different from my previous mermaid dolls since this one has a sculpted tail. I went for a dark haired mermaid with a purple tail, but obviously you can customize this to look however you like. Let's get started. For this project I'll be using this second-hand old Barbie, which I bought a long time ago and realized that the neck was broken and she had kind of a funny waist, so I ended up using her legs for something else previously, but when I wanted to make a mermaid I realized she'd be a good candidate. Her funny waist joint comes in handy at this point, so you'll be able to pose better once you have the tail on. Starting with the head this time, I removed it from the body and then removed all the hair. Then I used some Acetone nail polish remover to remove the old face before priming 3 times with the Mr. Super Clear spray and getting into the actual repaint. I'll be using my watercolor pencils, mainly applying them using a brush and then a few shades of pastel. The reason I'll be using the watercolor effect of my pencils on a brush this time is because it gives me finer lines, and I was going for a slightly more realistic face this time because my few previous dolls has been very cartoony, so I wanted to do something else. After placing the eyes, I just blocked in the white of the teeth. When it comes to the eyebrows, I like doing them in chalk pastel because it's easy to erase and you can easily shape them and then work on top later. I use chalk pastel in a very light skin color to add subtle highlights to the face and help give more dimension, cause the plastic tends to look a little flat. And then I added a bit of pink for blush. At this point I sprayed the face again using the Mr. Super Clear spray to set in the progress I'd made and then started working on top. I went for quite neutral and brown shades for the entire repaint so it would fit the brown hair I was going to give her. Back to the eyebrows, I try to keep every stroke individual to be every little individual hair, but try not to make them too bushy. Since the doll's eyelids are pretty flat, I like to use the chalk pastel in the crease of the eyes to help add dimension and also add a lighter color right under the brows to help it stand out. I also add subtle shading to the smile lines and next to the nose, and this just helps to make it look a little more alive. Using a bigger brush, I also shade around the temple and the cheekbones. And here I sprayed it again. Now I'm going to darken the shadows and brighten the highlights. When adding the eyelashes, I built them up in layers to make them look nice and full. Add the highlights of the eyes and a last round of highlighting, and then we're ready to seal it all in the final time. Once the sealant was dry, I went in with a shiny glaze over the eyes and lips, but you can skip it if you want to. For her hair, I used this viscose doll hair, which I got off eBay, sprayed it out flat on a work surface, worked in glue in the tops of the hair to create wefts, and then I glued them straight onto the doll's head. Once you got all the hair attached, we can move on to the tail. I'll be sculpting the tail in polymer clay since it's my preferred sculpting medium. Condition a big ball of clay and then roll it out in a cone shape in the size you want your tail. Then you want to slightly flatten it so it isn't completely circular. Cut a slit in the top of the tail. Then insert the doll, covered in tin foil, and close the tail up around it. Then you want to pose the tail in the position you want it to stay. I went for a seated position, but you can also go for a more swimming pose. When you're happy with the pose, carefully slide out the doll from the tin foil and then pre-bake the tail for a few minutes to harden. And here's the tail after cooling. There was a few areas that needed a bit more clay, so I used some liquid clay to stick on more unbaked clay to fill out these areas. Once you're happy with the general shape, pre-bake again. After that, I stuck on small circles of clay in an overlaying pattern to create a scale effect. Add the scales almost to the top of the tail and then pre-bake again to make sure you don't mess them up. For the fin, I rolled out a sheet of clay, then cut out the shape I wanted it to be and used a dotting tool to add some texture. Use liquid clay to stick the fin onto the tip of the tail, then crumble up some tin foil to be a little rack, which you can lean the fin on so you can pose it while pre-baking it so it keeps its shape. Add on the other fin in the same way, then you're ready to bake it completely. I wanted the mermaid to have scales on her chest as well, so covered her top in tin foil, then added on the Polymer scales, carefully slit the tin foil off the doll and then baked it completely. Next we're going to use some air dry clay to connect the doll to the tail. I added a bit of glue onto the doll before I stuck it into the tail, and then I filled in the gap using the air dry clay. Then I continued the scale pattern that we've done previously and allowed it to dry completely. Once dry, paint the tail with acrylic paint. After 2 layers of paint, I added on some gold mica powder for a bit of shine. Seal it in with a shiny glaze, and that's the tail done. I painted the chest pieces the same way as the tail and stuck them in place. As a final detail, I used a small seashell and a piece of string to make a necklace. Now all there's left to do is attach the head, and our mermaid is done. I really hope you guys enjoyed this project. I know I did. If you guys have any requests for future repaints, creatures, magical stuff, whatever you want to see, leave them in the comments below because I really enjoy reading them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in a new one real soon. Bye!